So it's good news for possibly getting more stimulus out. They've raised the debt ceiling, at least temporarily, until December. This was a big debate on the Senate floor to try to get the debt ceiling raised. Now they do this every few years. This is something that's nothing new. They come in and they say, we need to raise the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is basically there to limit the government spending. Now the government is out of control spending right now. They just are going crazy with spending. They're going to borrow more money. They're going to just print more money. It's just absolutely crazy right now. The Senate right now, it looks like they did vote on the extension of the debt ceiling. So it says Senate on the verge of breaking a stalemate on the debt ceiling after Senate Democrats accepted State Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's offer of an increase until December, which defers but does not resolve the disagreement. So McConnell doesn't want to spend more money. He doesn't want the Democrats to spend $5 trillion to add to the $28 trillion in debt already. Some people argue that it's the federal government's balance sheet, that they can just spend as much as they want. But what people don't understand is that inflation is absolutely getting crushed right now. You have prices going crazy through the roof. And so when federal governments continue to print and borrow and spend, all these inflation things go up. You have houses prices go up. You have asset prices continue to skyrocket. You have wages that are still stalemate. It hurts the middle class. It hurts the people that are getting hourly wages, because if you get an hourly wage at $10 and inflation is rising at $10 or 10% every year, you can't keep up with that. So right now the debt ceiling is going to be raised. I think that it's fine. Government needs to continue to suspend. I would hate for somebody to not be able to get their Social Security payment because of the fact the government was not able to fund it. But at some point, I don't know what's going to crack, but we'll see. It's good news for California, though. They about 705 stimulus payments were sent out to Californians today, totaling nearly $450 million, according to Andrew Lagarde, spokesman for the state's franchise tax board. So this is something that's good for California. They're going to be getting more stimulus payments out to those up to $1,100. If you do live in California and you are qualified for that, you'll be able to get that. I think if you qualified for the $1,400 payment, you're going to be getting that one in California. So look for that California payment to come out here quickly. Again, this is something that each state received billions of dollars. So each state received, $2 or $3 billion for most states. Some of the bigger states got $30 billion. All that was stimulus payments that were sent from the federal government to the states to go out and use it to stimulate their economies. Some of the states are doing it, not all of them. In fact, some of the states are even taking the money and using it for other things. I don't know if that's should be right. I think they should send some type of stimulus payments out to everybody in that state, trying to get the stimulus going. There is a bill in the House of Representatives called the Support Act. The Support Act is going to get monthly payments sent out to everybody. It's going to be I think it's a $1,200 payment. There also is that big petition to try to get $2,000 payments coming in. Will they get that passed? I don't know. Right now, it looks like the Treasury Department is trying to get all of the transactions that are, it's called the $600 tax rule. This is transactions that the Treasury is going to try to see everybody's transactions over $600. Will it get passed? I don't know. They're going to try to put this into the infrastructure bill. But the frustration part is that Democrats want to raise this debt ceiling and they want to add another $5 trillion onto this. In order to get that $5 trillion, they either have to print the money, borrow it from the Federal Reserve, or they have to go out there and tax people on a greater basis. So if the federal government's trying to raise or spend $5 trillion, if they go out there and tax pretty much all the trillionaires and billionaires out there, if they tax them at 100%, like if you tax Jeff Bezos and all his buddies at 100%, you're only going to be able to fund the government for the next 8 months. So where is the other money going to come from? And that's 100%. So you took all of Bezos' money. Like you don't leave him with anything. You took all of his buddies and you taxed all of them. It's only going to fund the government for 8 months. It'd be like us, if we had a credit card and we were spending that credit card and we had unlimited amounts of money on that credit card, but at some point we had to pay for that debt. We had to continue to pay that monthly payment on that debt. As we continue to grow that debt, it would be harder and harder to pay that debt, and we'd have to find new ways to try to raise income to get that. The government's only way to raise an income is taxing, just taxing everybody. Now, right now it says Stephanie Loomis, she is a big believer in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoins. She says she believes that the change would have a very harmful impact on the financial sector, making the Treasury's job more difficult. Senator Loomis argues that the increased scrutiny on banking could drive people out of the formal sector just to thwart the Treasury's access to their personal information, not because they're trying to hide anything, but because they're not willing to share anything. So people want privacy. They want to be able to go to the banks. They want to have privacy in that. If the Treasury and government's going in there and just going through their bank accounts and all that, it's going into their personal information. Government should not have the ability to go in and just be able to just see what everybody's doing. Now, right now, most people get W-2s. So the government already knows exactly what's going on with the W-2s. They're trying to say this is going after the people that are rich and that run their own business. It's a little crazy, a little invasive. So I'm not really a big believer on this $600 tax rule. If you're in favor of it, then it's not good long term. And the reason why is because right now the federal government is printing so much money that the inflation is we're all getting screwed from this inflation. All the prices, the house prices, the car prices, food prices that you go to the food store. The reason why those prices are rising is because the value of the dollar is declining. So the value of the dollar continues to decline, all those prices go up. You look at places like Venezuela, they print their money so much that the value of that currency is just nothing. It takes, I've seen paper all over the streets just from people that, they're not using that money. It's worthless right now. So anybody that's in favor of these invasive more tax things is crazy, because all they're going to be doing is they're not going to raise the money through tax income. They're going to have to raise the money through printing the money. And so inflation is a hidden tax. Most people just don't understand it. Most people just don't get it, that inflation it's not good. It's not good for all of us, because we pay more at the grocery store, we pay more at restaurants, all of that. It's just crazy. It's good news for some of the states, though. I think some of the states are finally starting to step up and do the right thing. Looks like Alaska's already been getting out stimulus payments from their state. Each state, they have billions of dollars sitting in the treasury. All they can do is turn around and pay some checks to the people in that area. I don't know why they're not doing it. Tennessee, it looks like Tennessee, Colorado, Michigan, Georgia, Florida. These states are sending out checks. They're sending out $1,000 checks to teachers, $500 checks to part-time teachers. Florida's actually sending out bonus payments to police, firefighters, all that. I know people are pushing for some type of reoccurring payment to come out. And that's fine, reoccurring payments to come out, but somebody has to pay for that. So somebody has to, if you tax the rich 100% and you give that to those that need it, a monthly payment, it just doesn't help the economy. It doesn't help society by doing that. You can't have a government just takes from this portion, puts it over to here and gives it to them. It just doesn't incentivize, because what it does is if you give people just a monthly payment every month, then what's the point of them going out and working? Then what's the point of them going out and be productive? A society that has people that aren't productive is not a very good society. California, though, is sending out stimulus checks. They are sending out up to $1,100 in stimulus in the state of California. New York has set aside $2.1 billion, and they're going to be sending out payments to, I think it's Excluded Workers Fund. So if you make under a certain amount of money, you're going to be getting a check. And then New York City looks like they're going to be sending out $5,000 in October. If you're in a state that's not getting a stimulus payment based on whatever you're doing in that state, you need to go to the governors and the legislative and let them know that they do have money from the federal government, that they should be turning around and spending that money into the economy. And so right now, this debt ceiling, they're gonna raise it, and then it's gonna end in December. So coming in December, they're gonna have to go through this whole charade again about raising the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is there to limit the government. The problem is that Senate, the whole Congress, they rely on the government to get their money. So if they're gonna shut down the government, they're not gonna get their own payment. So it's almost like you saying, well, you're going to close down your business, you're going to close down your job just because you have a limit on your job. So at some point, I think that somebody is going to have to step in, whether it be the Supreme Court, and they're going to say, look, if you guys can't manage your books, if you can't budget your plan, then you shouldn't be spending all this extra money on whatever you want to spend it on. You need to be able to work within the amount of money that you take in. And that's why local city governments, states, they work on the money they bring in. So you have a city, the only money they can only work on the money they bring in through taxes, through sales taxes, through property taxes and things like that. So that's why, to me, local city governments are the ones that people should support. They should support that. When you have a giant federal government that's just printing money and spending it, it's going to affect everybody.